It looks chaotic, doesn't it? But if we look longer and harder, we would find an order, a pattern of behaviour. And this is what sociologists do. They try to make sense of social life, but they're not the only ones.
Society today, too materialistic. Everybody's just interested in getting what they can for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, things don't seem that different to about 5 years ago.
Kids, well, they're not willing to work, are they? They don't know what hard work is, do they?
I suppose, really, the main thing is it doesn't seem there's any jobs for young people these days.
So we all have opinions about society, but is the sociologist's view any more valid? Can sociologists really provide a clearer and more objective understanding of social life? And if so, how do they go about doing it?
Methods is one of the most important themes in sociology, and it's therefore very important that candidates address these issues in all aspects of their course. Indeed, in evaluating sociological ideas, theoretical and methodological issues are likely to be the most important component of their argument.
So why is there all this theory in sociology? Sociologists, after all, are supposed to be telling us about real people. So why don't they just get on and do research?
It's important that sociologists don't just go out and do research. It's important to have theory because theory always gives some point, some guide, some purpose to research. It helps the sociologist organise the data, organise the information, the facts, and things that they have found out in the research. It helps them to organise it in a very systematic way and helps them to explain.
Okay, so theory may be hard, but it is important. It provides a framework around which facts can be organised. But the next problem for the student is linking theoretical ideas to methodology. And here the absolutely crucial thing is what counts as valid knowledge in sociology.
It seems that sociologists are not agreed about this, but one answer could be here. Most of us will have studied science subjects at some time or other, but what exactly is science?
The conventional view of science stresses objectivity. It suggests that scientists make observations, and on the basis of those observations, they conclude either that a theory is proven or that it's falsified.
Science has proved to be the most effective way yet devised of actually finding out how things work. Take the human body, for example.
200 years ago, doctors had little scientific understanding of the body. Treatments were often based on inspired guesses. One popular theory was that all illnesses were caused by an imbalance of bodily fluids. Too much red meat and red wine, for example, caused excess of blood, which could lead to stroke or heart disease. The treatment was to cut into a vein and drain off the excess blood. Such treatments would result in a criminal prosecution today. As a result of developments in medical sciences and medical technology, doctors now have a much better understanding of how the human body works and what to do when it goes wrong.
But can scientific methods provide us with a better understanding of how societies work? It seems that many of the earliest sociologists thought they could.
Sociology began in 19th century Europe, a time of great social change. The old feudal system was being swept away by a new industrial order. Inspired by the success of the natural sciences, many early sociologists, such as Karl Marx and Auguste Comte, believed there was an underlying order to these developments which scientific methods could reveal. Classical sociologists used statistics and documentary sources to try to discover general laws of social development. However, although they thought of themselves as scientists, they were hardly detached observers. Rather, they used science to justify their political views, and the boundary between politics and science became blurred.
Marx was a social theorist, but it's important to remember that he was also a political activist. So, his social theory has sometimes been called scientific, because people argue that it revealed the underlying laws of human development.
Though Comte and Marx both believed in the power of science, their theories took them in very different directions. Marx believed that societies change through conflict.
So Marx talked about the conflicts within each society, and he saw laws at work within each of these systems which would point the way somewhat to the future. In a capitalist society, Marx suggested that society was being socialized in such a way as to prepare the future for socialism itself.
Comte saw things very differently.
For Comte, the idea of sociology was to attack these ideas and to stress things like consensus in society, not conflict, to stress the positive features of traditional institutions such as religion and the family. He had this conception that society could be organised from the top by a group of sociologists who replaced the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church was falling into some disarray during this time. So they could be replaced by a priesthood of sociologists who could tell people what they should be doing.
A priesthood of sociologists? Well, that sounds really good to me. These classical sociologists were so confident because they believed that their theories were explaining the whole of society. But what about sociologists today? Do they still feel the same way?
Classical theorists were very ambitious. They tried to understand the basis of social order in society as a whole. Modern sociologists are more modest. They tend to try and understand some particular aspect of the social world. They develop what Merton called middle-range theories to make sense of those aspects of the world.
I think with modern sociology, that holistic element of positivism has disappeared. And what you have instead is, on the one hand, people who are doing particular studies of crime, of deviance, of bad housing or of education, for example. Social mobility would be another instance of this, and seeking to establish correlations between different elements within their research. Bad housing is correlated with social class, educational levels, and so on and so forth.
So contemporary sociologists are more likely to talk about trends and correlations than about laws. However, many of them still believe that a scientific method based on careful observation can be applied to the study of society. This theory is called positivism. But what exactly is positivism?